Hello player, today we will analyze the match between Hikaru Nakamura with the white pieces and a Karklins with the black pieces. c4, f5, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, e6, d4, bishop e7, knight f3, kingside castling, queen e8, knight c3, bishop d8, b3, queen h5, queen c2, knight c6, bishop b2, d5, e3, f5, a3, knight e7, knight e5, knight g4, knight captures on g4, f captures on g4, e4. This move was inaccurate, the best move was queen d1. For example, queen d1, rook a6, h3, e5, d captures on e5, d captures on c4, f4, with an advantage for white, e4, d captures on c4, b captures on c4, e5, d5. The evaluation became -1.4, this move was a mistake, the best move was d captures on e5. For example, d captures on e5, knight g6, knight e2, with a balanced game, d5, rook a6, bishop c1, knight g6. This move was inaccurate, the best move was g5. For example, g5, queen d2, rook f4, bishop h1, rook h6, f3, g captures on f3, rook f2, bishop h3, g captures on f4, queen g4 check, bishop g2, bishop captures on g2, rook captures on g2, f captures on g2, queen captures on g2, queen h4, knight e2, queen e1 check, queen f1, queen captures on f1 check, king captures on f1, e captures on f4, rook b1, b6, knight d4, knight g6, knight c6, rook captures on h2, king g1, rook e2, knight captures on d8, g4, knight c6, rook e1 check, king f2, rook d1, king e2, rook h1, knight d4, h5, with a decisive advantage for black, knight g6, knight e2, bishop g5, bishop captures on g5, queen captures on g5, queen c1. The evaluation became -1.3, this move was a mistake, the best move was c5. For example, c5, knight h8, queen c3, with a balanced game, queen c1, queen h5, queen e3, rook from a, f6, rook from a, c1. The evaluation became -2.9, this move was a mistake, the best move was c5. For example, c5, knight h8, d6, c captures on d6, c captures on d6, rook h6, rook from f, d1, bishop d7, rook from a, b1, with a decisive advantage for black, rook from a, c1, knight h8, bishop h1. This move was inaccurate, the best move was rook c3. For example, rook c3, rook h6, h3, with a decisive advantage for black. Bishop h1, g5. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was rook f3. For example, rook f3, bishop captures on f3, g captures on f3, h4, h6, with a decisive advantage for black. g5, rook c2, rook h6, h4, g captures on h4, f4, h3. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was g captures on f3. For example, g captures on f3, bishop captures on f3, queen g6, bishop g2, rook captures on f1 check, bishop captures on f1, queen h5, with a decisive advantage for black. h3, king h2, rook from h, f6, f5, b6, knight c1, knight f7, knight d3, bishop a6, rook b1, rook e8. This move was inaccurate, the best move was king h8. For example, king h8, knight f2, rook g8, c5, queen h6, queen captures on h6, knight captures on h6, f4, b captures on c5, with an advantage for black. Rook e8, knight f2, king h8, c5, queen g5. The evaluation became 1.6. This was a serious mistake, the best move was queen h6. For example, queen h6, knight captures on g4, queen captures on e3, knight captures on e3, bishop d3, rook from b, c1, bishop captures on c2, knight g4, rook captures on f5, e captures on f5, bishop captures on f5, knight e3, bishop d3, d6, e4, d captures on c7, b5, knight f5, rook c8, knight d6, rook captures on c7, bishop captures on e4, bishop captures on e4. With a balanced game. Queen g5, queen captures on g5, knight captures on g5, knight captures on g4, rook from f, f8, knight f2, b captures on c5, rook captures on c5, rook b8, rook from c, c1, rook from f, c8, knight captures on h3, rook captures on b1, rook captures on b1, knight f7, bishop f3. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight f2. For example, knight f2, knight d6, king h3, with a decisive advantage for white. Bishop f3, h6, knight f2, king g7, rook c1, bishop b7, knight d3, c6, d6. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop g4. For example, bishop g4, king f6, rook b1, h5, bishop captures on h5, knight d6, rook b6, bishop a8, knight c5, knight c4, rook a6, king e7, g4. King d6. Knight e6. Bishop b7. Rook a7. C. Captures on d5. Rook captures on b7. d4. Rook c7. Rook captures on c7. Knight captures on c7. Knight d2. Knight e8 check. King c5. g5. King b5. f6. Knight f1 check. King h3. Knight e3. g6. Knight d5. E. Captures on d5. e4. f7. With a decisive advantage for white. d6. Rook d8. Knight c5. Bishop c8. d7. That was a good move, he doesn't let the advantage slip away. Bishop captures on d7. Rook b1. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was bishop h5. For example, bishop h5. Knight d6. Rook b1. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook b1. Bishop c8. The evaluation became 2.4, this was a serious mistake, the best move was knight g5. For example, knight g5. Rook b7. King g8. Bishop g4. Bishop e8. f6. Bishop f7. Rook a7. Rook b8. With an advantage for white. Bishop c8. Rook b6. Knight g5. Bishop g2. Rook d2. This move was inaccurate, the best move was rook d6. For example, rook d6. Rook b8. Rook d8. g4. King f6. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook d2. King g1. This move was inaccurate, the best move was rook captures on c6. For example, rook captures on c6. Knight f3 check. King h3. Knight g5 check. King h2. Knight f3 check. King h3. Knight g5 check. King g4. Rook captures on g2. Rook captures on c8. Rook e2. Rook c6. With a decisive advantage for white. King g1. Rook d6. King f2. King f6. King e3. King e7. Knight b3. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was rook b8. For example, rook b8. Rook d8. g4. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight b3. King d8. Knight captures on a5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight c5. For example, knight c5. Knight f7. Rook b1. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight captures on a5. King c7. Knight c4. Rook d1. White's victory. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your suggestions.